I think we're still waiting on Todd Edwards. Otherwise, I have Ray, Brad, Karen, Mike, Bob, Steve, Paul, and Neil.
Great. Is it 6 o'clock? I think we get started with or without Todd, as soon as we have a quorum. Are we right at the stroke of 6 there, Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start the meeting because we always like to start on time. We value everybody's time. I want to call to order the June 24th meeting of the Metroplex Board of Directors. We welcome everyone by teleconference. We are live streaming the call, and we thank David for his help with that. The first item, we'd ask you to, if you speak or you want to make a motion, to first state your name. And if you're not speaking and there's any background noise where you are, put your phone on mute unless you're speaking. With those ground rules, we go forward. The first item on the agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the April 22nd meeting. I need someone to make a motion, someone to make a second. They can identify themselves so that we could.
Brad Lewis, motion.
Thank you, Brad.
Vote. Neil.
Neil with the second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. The minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is the treasurer's report. We'll ask Karen to summarize.
Sure. Our actual through the end of May is with income is $3,459,055. Our total operating expenses were $463,847, and cash and equivalents on hand is $1,950,595. Our pre-development budget stands at $313,802 available, and we're holding our own.
Great. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Somebody could identify themselves and make a motion.
Brad Lewis, motion.
Thank you. I need a second. Bob Dietrich, second. Thank you, Bob. Any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Sure, go ahead.
Neil here. I would say I'm in good control considering everything that's gone on during this period.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the staff, Jamie, Maureen, and the whole team. We've, really been watching our P's and Q's, as my mother used to say, watching expenses, and had to make some cuts. And we're watching the bottom line very closely, and we'll continue to keep everyone informed. Any other comments on the treasurer's report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Yep, go ahead.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. Thank you. We have a number of. I'm sorry.
Neil, for 1 second.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm getting a lot of bouncing up and down in the reception I'm hearing. Is anybody else?
Okay. I can hear you pretty good. Everybody else good, or?
Yeah, I'm good, Ray. Karen.
Okay. I'll try to talk closer to the phone if everybody can just, if there's any background noise where you are, we'll mute your phone unless you're talking, and then we'll continue to press on. The first resolution tonight is Scotia Industrial Park pilot. Resolution 1404-20. Jamie has taken a night off tonight, so you're stuck with me going through the various resolutions. I'd like a motion on this. I don't know, Bob, if you'd like to make the motion, being this is the Glendale issue.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. We need a second. Who's going to make the second? I didn't hear. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. This is we've had a lot of success out at the Glendale Business and Technology Park. I was thinking about it today. We've brought about 1 million square feet of space online at the park. You could argue that it's probably one of the most successful business parks in the capital region. If you drive out there today, there's a 100,000 square foot building going up for Adirondack Beverages. We've attracted companies such as Belgioso Cheese, Old Dominion, SQP, CDTI, Dimension Fabricators, and many others. And we've really worked closely with the town and the county and all of you, and really have a lot to be proud of out at the Glenville Business and Technology Park. We have a pilot that is set to expire in a couple of days, actually the end of June. And we work closely with the town supervisor and his team, the school district, to negotiate a new pilot to replace the existing pilot. The existing pilot covers a number of the old 1943 vintage Navy depot buildings in the park. A number of them are quite dated, and there's still quite a bit of vacancy in some of these buildings. Our goal in really structuring the new pilot is to be able to continue to work with the developer here at the Gillespie Group to try to take some of these buildings down and create pad sites for new companies to come in and build new buildings. But in the interim, we have to figure out how to tax them. These buildings are currently taxed. They pay full taxes under the pilot on an assessed value of $6.5 million. We were able to negotiate an increase in that to $8 million. So the developer will pay 100% taxes on a value of $8 million, up $1.5 million from the previous pilot. And in consultation with the town and the school district, everybody was pleased, and that's a positive number, and it resulted in more revenues for the county, the town, and the school district, and puts us in place to continue the positive momentum that we're seeing at the business park. So with that, we'd ask for your approval. We're happy to answer any questions. Again, we're adding to the tax base and positioning the park for continued progress. Just make a picture of the park in your packet. It's really been a transformation that has occurred there in recent years. Happy to answer any questions.
Big building in the near ground?
The building in the near ground is a 150,000 square foot CTBI building, a company that's headquartered in Philly. We're able to bring them up here. They looked at locations all over the Northeast. They were so pleased with their experience and with the workforce. They built a second building of 100,000 square feet further toward the village of Scotia. Next to that is the new Old Dominion facility. Next to that is Dimension Fabricators. And this doesn't show the new Belgioso cheese factory or the new Adirondack building that's going up, but the park is really growing. We're adding a lot of jobs and a lot of tax base.
Is Polar building a new building, or they plan to keep their old one?
Yes, Polar is, and Neil, you were involved in helping bring them to our community, but they've been on a really rapid growth curve. They're now in over almost 800,000 square feet of space, a combination of production space and warehouse space. And if you drive out to the park today, and I encourage you to do it because it really makes you feel good about the comeback in the economy, there's a 100,000 square foot building going up as we speak. And what they're doing is they're shifting a lot of their warehouse operations to that new building, which allows them to use their existing space for more production. So it's a kind of a double bang project where they increase warehouse capacity and also dramatically increase their production capacity. So Adirondack is continuing to expand at the park, and when this is done, there'll be an almost 900,000 square feet of space total in the Glenville Park. Any other questions? Yeah, we did. Go ahead.
Just quickly, so if we got all the demolitions and all the rest of that, would that be, I mean, the 8 million would go for, what was it, 10 years? So in other words, is there a likelihood that the buildings, that if we get more buildings, it'll go up, or is this basically a stable base from which they can develop?
A really good question. This really gives us a stable base, but each and every time we bring a new company to the park, we're able to adjust this. So we take if for example, we we are able to get another company to come in, we need to take a building down, we're able to come back and adjust the pilot with your consent. So we may, you may see this again. But, and again, these older buildings, we still have a lot of tenants in the older buildings. Just as, but it gives us the flexibility to continue to recruit new companies, some of whom want to go in older space, some of whom want new space.
Thank you. That's great.
Yes. Other questions?
Hi, Ray, this is Steve. I just have a quick question. Is the
Sure.
cheese factory totally, fully up and running?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, because of the health crisis, they weren't able to do a ribbon cutting. We visited it. I visited it last week. It's 100,000 square feet. It's beautiful. They're very happy. Their owner came over from Wisconsin, and they just couldn't be happier. It really struck me the capacity of the plant. They brought out some cheese for us to sample that they had made in Glenville, which is very nice. And we were able to bring samples over to town hall and share it with some of the supervisors and some of the staff. But I asked them, how many of these packages can you make? And they said, on this one particular type of sharp provolone, and they said, we can make 70,000 packages a day. So it's really impressed. I mean, it's quite an operation. And, because they were deemed essential because they're a food manufacturer, they were able to continue construction throughout the health crisis. And they're buying a ton of milk, tons of milk from New York dairy farmers, and they're rapidly adding staff, and it's a great success story. Hopefully when this crisis ebbs more and passes a little more, we're able to do a proper ceremony out there to welcome them.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. Neil here. I really am.
Yeah, it's just terribly unfortunate. We couldn't even, I think Jennifer and Jamie went through the plant, but Neil, if anyone wanted to go, I'm sure we could do it in groups of one or two, to get a tour, but it's given the health crisis, we had to take our temperature at the door, and we were, constrained to a very small part of the plant and had to get in the suits and everything. But at some point we'll do something out there. Any other questions on Glenville Park? Seeing that we have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The motion carries. We stay on this pilot. Very interestingly, one of the buildings that we show in the packet, building 201, houses a medical marijuana. They are one of 10 companies in the state that's licensed to grow and process medical marijuana. And because of state law, federal law, banking law, that building has to be isolated from the others, has to have its own tax parcel, it has to have its own property ID number. So it's part of this same $8 million assessment, but it has to have its own, it has to stand alone from the other parcels, the other properties in the older portion of the park. So we need to, and the town understands this, and so the school district, everybody understands that under state law, they're allowed to operate. Federal law does not allow the marijuana operations. So as a result, federally chartered banks cannot participate in anything to do with marijuana. So this is a parcel that has to be basically a standalone parcel within the park. So we need a motion and a second. Basically, it's part of that same $8 million full taxes on $8 million in assessed value.
Motion.
Bob, do you want to make that? Because again, it's from Glenville, and then Bob, thank you. And then we need a second, Karen.
Karen, yeah, I'll do the second. Thank you.
Any questions on building 201?
Ray,
Some of Joe Creek.
the supervisor really, he wanted me to relay his appreciation for all your work on the negotiations, and he feels that it was a fair deal for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. We enjoy working with the team out there, and You know, so we move on. Some have joked we have medical marijuana, we have cheese. You know, the next we have soda and seltzer. We need so we're kind of building the brand out of the park. So thank you for your support on that one. Next, we go to the City of Schenectady to the Gazette Press building, and we need a motion and a second act, and we can discuss this project a little further.
Motion, Brad.
Karen, I can make the second, Karen.
Thank you. So we come back to the former Gazette Press building at 132 and 136 Broadway. This is the building that at one time houses Skype's Carpet store. It also housed a hardware supplier, and then later became the press operation for the Daily Gazette with a loading dock. A very prominent Beaux Arts building along the Broadway corridor. The city a number of years ago gave title to that building to a group that promised to build an Edison museum there. It was, in my opinion, it's easy to criticize your predecessors, a very poorly structured deal. Didn't require them to make substantive improvements in the building. It did require them to pay taxes on one of the buildings, but not the other, and they never did so. They basically let the building go to seed, go to ruin. The facade was very unsightly, and it was really a drain on our efforts to redevelop that portion of downtown. We in the city pursued the group and basically wound up wresting control of the building from them. As you all know, we've talked about this building many times in the past. We were able to get title back in the city's hands. Metroplex was able to purchase the building from the city, and then we sold it at previous board actions to the Redburn Development Group. We actually made a small profit on the sale. I want to thank Jennifer from our staff because when we owned the building, Jennifer can tell you all very clearly that we took 20 tons of trash out of this building and worked to stabilize and restore the facade. It's a beautiful facade, one of the most striking facades downtown, and basically helped save and preserve the building. Tonight's action is kind of our standard package. No financial commitment from Metroplex. Sales tax exemption, mortgage recording tax exemption, and a pilot that puts the property on the tax rolls for the first time in decades. The building was in city hands, and then it was owned and operated by this Edison group, which was a nonprofit. So tonight we provide kind of the bare minimum package of incentives. The developer invests $3.7 million. We put the property back on the tax rolls for the first time in, as I said, many years. The developer is the work has started. It's very exciting to see that every day as we enter the Center City building. It's a gut renovation of the building. It's going to be 11 apartments and ground floor retail. And it's a 27,000 square foot building. Again, I want to thank Jennifer, Jamie, David, a lot of folks touched this project and helped us get it back on the tax rolls, get it back stabilized, save a historic building, and we thank our friends and colleagues from Redburn Development for once again jumping in and doing a great project. It's going to be happy to answer any questions. There's two actions. One is a seeker action, and one is approval of the small incentive package. David, did you want to talk about the seeker action? That's the first item.
Yeah, sure. So 140620 is we did our standard environmental review. The renovation of the facility constitutes an unlisted action, and we determined that it has nothing but positive environmental effects for the community, renovating a now vacant building. So we're making the recommendation that we move forward, that it is that we approve seeker with no significant effect on the environment.
And I think, again, not to continue to pound on the history of this thing, but I think our message tonight is this group that had taken this building, gotten it from the city for $1, and then never fulfilled their commitments to open a museum there. Those days are over, of getting a building for $1 and then not following up on what you promised to do. We don't tolerate that anymore. If people don't meet the commitments, we confront them and challenge them and get the building back and redevelop it the right way. So we're very, very proud. It's been a team effort. All of you have been involved in this. We've had this on the agenda many times, and it's really, really exciting to see work underway. And again, this is just a highly visible building on that Broadway corridor. So happy to answer any questions or get any comments.
So Ray, it's Karen. I am pleased that this is moving forward, and I'm pleased with what the final product is going to be. And I have to give Jennifer a big shout out. I know it was a heavy task for her to get this ready to turn over to Redburn, and she did a phenomenal job. I know the whole team was involved, but I think most of it laid on Jennifer's shoulders, and she did a great job. So thank you, Jennifer. Thanks.
A lot of dusty days, you know, a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of junk was moved out of there. 20 tons, and that's a real number. We actually have the invoices to prove it. So thank you.
So do I make a motion?
Yeah, we have a motion on this, Jennifer or David?
I don't think. Yeah, I think we need a motion first on the seeker action 140620.
Okay.
Motion, Lewis?
Yeah, Brad, I'll make the motion. Karen, do you want a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, so on the seeker motion, resolution 1406, we have all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Any opposed? The motion carries. And then on resolution 1407-20 to adopt the general project plan, we need a motion and a second.
Motion, Lewis?
Okay.
Thanks, Brad. Karen, you make the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks. The motion carries. Don't believe we have any comments from the public that had to be sent in prior to the meeting. We don't have any public comment, do we, Jennifer?
No, I'm not aware of any.
David, do you aware of any?
Nope, we have not received anything to my knowledge.
Okay, so we post this for public comment prior to the meeting. Any comment from the members of the board on any subjects?
Yes, Ray, Neil here. Nice to speak for a moment.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, recently I went online Googling Metroplex, the name, wanted to see what they had. It defined Metroplex as a group of cities, very generic definition. Metroplex is a generic word. And they also mentioned that it refers to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I got the idea in the first place. But most of the article dialogue is about Schenectady, which is nice. It caused me to ask the question, have we in Schenectady protected the use of Metroplex for Schenectady Metroplex Development Authority? I was happened to be on the phone with our company counsel, and I just asked him if he would check to see if anybody has, and he said, no, nobody has stepped forward to register that name. He said, if you'd like me to do it for you, he said, probably cost $2,000-3,000, but we could do it for you. I think we should register the name. And if you feel you'd like to pursue that, I think they'd be willing to help us and get it done. But I think we should protect our name, don't you?
Yes, it's not something I wasn't here at the outset, as you know, and wasn't involved in picking the name. But I thought it was a public domain, so it's because it had come from another area, from Dallas, and they used that in the lexicon and the Dallas community. I wasn't aware that it was something that could be protected, unless it was with the Schenectady prefix or something.
Metroplex is a generic term. So apparently anybody can use it, like Jello, well, you can't use Jello, but it's a generic term. And he
Right.
said it is sellable, and I think, with all the good, press we've gotten from that people in this region respect and recognize that Schenectady is Metroplex, that we should protect the name. Suppose
Yeah,
we
no, we'll
want-
definitely,
suppose
you know,
we
I
wanted
think
to define our brand, we should really own that name, and we can for very little sum of money. You ought to do that.
yeah, no, we'll definitely look into it. I mean, I know we own the domain names and associated domain names on the internet. But as far as the name itself, are you talking about trademarking it, or is it just protecting it?
My motion is that we protect the Schenectady Metroplex name. It can be done. Nobody else done it. And my motion is that
Well, I don't think we need a motion. Let me just, because we didn't have it on the agenda. We're not supposed to really yet to publish an agenda under public authorities law. We'll have our counsel look into it. We'll consult with you, Neil. Seems like a great idea. Not something has ever been called to my attention. It should have been done in the first 4 or 5 years. I'm not aware that it was. So we'll definitely look into that and get back to everybody. And if it's appropriate, we'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting. Thank you for raising that. Very good point.
Thank you. That would be a good thing for us to do.
Yeah, no, I just completely never had that raised. So we'll definitely look into it. Comments from other folks on the board?
Ray, it's Karen.
Karen.
Hi. I just I really want to echo what Neil said earlier in reference to the staff, and we're in very, very difficult times, and Maureen and Jamie and Jennifer and Mark and David and the entire staff has just stepped it right up, and they've gone above and beyond, and specifically Maureen, drilling down on these financials and ensuring that there's, we're being fiscally responsible. So my hat's off to Maureen. There's been a lot of hard work done behind the scenes, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you. No, I echo those comments. We thank the whole team. Thank Maureen. They've really been crunching the numbers and the pilots this time of year. And also we've been trying to continue the momentum, to show the community that the demolitions are continuing, the investments are continuing, the momentum is continuing. It's harder than ever to get projects done, but we've done I think a very good job of continuing the pace of development, even in these trying times. So thank you for that comment. I really appreciate it. I know the staff does. Other comments? If not, we'll close the board comment. Our next meeting is, we do not meet in July. We appreciate everybody's help in kind of giving everybody a little bit of a breather in July. Our next meeting is the second Wednesday in August, and the date escapes me at the moment. Jennifer, can anybody help me out that's got a calendar nearby? I think it's the 12th.
The 12th would be the second Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, David. So we will be meeting again on the 12th. If it's safe and appropriate, we would try to meet in person. If not, we'll continue to do a teleconference. Anything else from anyone? Otherwise, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
It's Karen. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We need a second. Thank you, Paul. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Have a great evening, everybody, and please continue to stay well. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great.